Welcome back again to the United States of Australia. Two in one day or in one night or wherever you are in the world. For me, it's in one night. Anyway, I am back because I've got myself a guest this week, and it's a guy that I've never actually spoken to one-on-one. I think we appeared on one Christmas episode of Get My Go, which ended up being like 3 episodes, but we were one of like 15 people on a Zoom call that day. So we've never actually really conversed, shared a few DMs, but look, this guy and I go back a long way without actually ever really interacting. It's quite funny the way we've been intertwined along the way. He is the co-host of the Grappler Gazette. No, wait, no, that doesn't exist anymore. Co-host of RTW Main Event. Oh wait, no, that doesn't exist anymore either. Wait, no, I'm definitely sure he is a co-host of Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Ocho. How you doing?
I'm good. You nailed it. You nailed it. I've been so many co-hosts. They say I've been more co-hosts than I've had underwear. That's why I don't wear them anymore. That's for damn sure. Yeah, we've gone back a long. You know what? It's funny. The intertwining has been a good camaraderie, though. I think because it's always like for the good cause. I feel.
Yeah.
We're always on the good side.
Yeah, no, I agree. It was quite fun and amusing the way we came together, and we will get into that. But I first of all, I just wanted to start out with, and shout out to Johnny Petraglia Jr. I do think he's an interesting guy, and you and I are going to talk off air about that later. But no, I do like Johnny, and early on in Straight Up 5, he
by the way, it's a bowling podcast, in case anybody wants to know.
Sorry.
It's literally about bowling. FYI, we have professionals on there. We've had Jason Belmonte from New South Wales, Australia, the greatest bowler in history, two-hander. And we got some awesome guests, but it's still about bowling. That's all I can say. So that's why Ocho's there to sprinkle a little bit of extra on there to kind of dummy it down a little bit, because Johnny's freaking a genius when it comes to bowling, to where he's saying terms that I never heard in my life, and I have a damn doctorate. So go ahead. There we go. Take it from there.
No, I agree. I like Johnny. I actually do think he explains it well for the layman. I do think he's a very interesting guy.
He's quite a natural too, because a performer almost. Like, he's engaging. Yes. He's not dull and dreary. Like, he's very engaging. Talking on camera. Some people can't do it. Some can.
No, I agree. And I know what Straight Up 5 means, and I'm a Straight Up 5 bowler. I rarely bowl. But if my understanding is correct by Johnny's explanation, is I'm drilling it straight down. What is it? The fifth plank, I think. Straight down, just trying to knock every pin down with as much straightness and power as possible. Is that Straight Up 5?
No, that would be straight up 20, I think. So the fifth arrow, it's a very amateur bowling term. You would be right if it was even more amateurish. But because we wanted to give it a little bowling flair, so what amateurs like me do, because they've made bowling fairly easy with these bowling balls, they're so revolutionary. They have these weight blocks in them, these off-kilter weight blocks, so the ball hooks kind of automatically. You just kind of roll it. So the idea is you want it to hook into the pocket. Anybody who's seen bowling, they see the pros are hooking it into the pocket, the 1-3 or the 1-2. So the 5 board is the one all the way to the right or the left, actually. They name them both the same on the left and the right. So amateurs stand to the right by the gutter, and they just pop it off their hand, and the ball does all the work, and it just rolls, and then it turns into the pocket, and it whacks the pocket, and then you have a 220 average like Ocho.
Okay, I misinterpreted it. Yeah, fair enough.
I thought right. That is a good point, though. That's a good rendition. If you knew the board numbers, you'd totally get it.
Yes, yeah. Because that's my style, is just try and hit just off the front pin, just to the right, because I'm a right-hander.
Doing as much damage as possible, and
exactly, just throwing it as hard as I can. But I haven't bowled in a very long time, but last time I did, and again, this is something I learned from Johnny, is he bowls thumbless, right?
Yes.
Yes, I can't spin a ball with my thumb in it. And so I immediately related to Johnny, like I can't I need to spin the ball with my palm, I guess is what I'm saying.
That's actually how you do it, really. I mean, the thumb should clear first anyway, but yeah, that's if you want more revs, and that's what knocks the pins over. Not so much. You probably don't throw it as hard now either with your thumb out of the ball, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because you're not squeezing it and throwing it like a like an underhand fastball, softball kind of pitch. So
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
and you'll even and you're using a ball like that's just laying there at the bowling alley, right? You don't have your own ball or
Of
anything, do you?
course. No, exactly. No,
All
yeah,
right,
yeah.
so
Yeah, a
so you're taking a
15-year-old
house
ball
ball.
that's yeah.
But that's just it. You're able to hook the ball, and those balls don't have that wacky weight block in them. It's these ones that I don't ever buy them. I get them from all these schleps that don't like them, and then they just give them to me. I'm fine with that. I'll get it
Yeah, yeah,
re-drilled.
yeah. Yeah.
So if you're able to do that with a house ball, if you got yourself a bowling ball, I guarantee you wouldn't have to go straight up five. You'd be standing where you normally stand and hooking the whole lane, and you'd be popping it and killing it.
That's amazing. Yeah, I did actually listening to Johnny and early on, and look, my history with Rad Rob is well documented on Get My Go. But
Most
yeah,
people know, and
yeah, yeah,
Twitter
yeah,
and or
yeah.
X.
So unfortunately for you guys, I kind of just found it hard to listen to, with him running the show. But I do genuinely think Johnny is an interesting character, and his dad is cool. Like his dad was like what? How many time world champion?
14.
14 times.
14 titles. He threw a 300 on TV on ABC's Wide World of Sports in 1994. It's all over YouTube. And he did the funniest thing after. He he won 100 grand by doing it, and it was sponsored by Ace Hardware, and it's on YouTube everywhere. He's like, "Oh, I want to thank Ace," because they stopped the show, and Chris Schenkel, the voice of God, comes out and does an interview with him, and he's like, "I just paid for my kid's college with this check, and thanks to Ace Hardware, I'm gonna go to Ace Hardware tomorrow and buy a hammer and a saw and build a shed." It was the funniest freaking thing ever. I'd probably say something stupid if I just won 100 grand also.
Exactly. You're in you bowled a 300 game. I mean, for starters, which is it's a hell of a feat.
Already
But
something, but then to do it on live television on channels
exactly,
like literally
yeah.
ABC, it's not like even cable or anything. This is literally on the regular network TV that anybody can get, whether they got rabbit ears or anything at this point.
Yeah, but early on, and I don't know how many more times you've had him on, if you have, but you guys had him on straight up five
Just
watching that.
once, actually.
Just yeah, he never came
Oh, you
back.
know what? He did an appearance on another one from a guy that we had on who was another pro who hadn't seen Johnny Sr. in forever. So Johnny Jr. was doing the show from their house, and he brought him in, and they had a little convo. And then
Yeah.
you never know what
No,
you're going to get on Straight Up Five, and you always get these.
yes. You are very proud of you. So what I was going to say actually, and you probably helped kayfabe it, but I'm still going to go there. Early on in straight up five, I heard Johnny say Butch a few times, and I personally would like to get to know Butch because that's a guy that sounds very interesting to me. I've got a question that's probably going to be a little bit out of left field for you, something you were not expecting coming. But you are, well, first of all, a simple question. You're a chiropractor, correct? Dr.
Yes,
Ocho?
you
You are
betcha.
a chiropractor.
Fake
Yes.
Dr. Ocho, I guess we could say.
Yeah.
And I haven't worked out in 2 years, by the way. But I'm a little deflated, but I still got kind of them. No, he had something in his mouth. He tried to say "och," but he didn't want to spill it,
Yeah.
so he was like
Yeah.
"booch." Or
Yeah.
talking about bocce also sometimes. It's like it's lawn bowling.
All right,
That was just a
I'll
mistake by
leave
his.
Butch alone. I'll leave Butch alone. That's the Butch stuff. But no, serious question. I love watching these videos on YouTube, and I have desires to get it done to myself. What do you think? What is your opinion of the ring dinger? Have you seen the ring dinger?
Nah, oh shoot, what
That's
am I
where they
missing?
wrap when they wrap the towel around, so they lock your hips in, and then he wraps the towel around your neck and yanks you.
Oh, that's scary as hell. And I have that's what's called the ring dinger.
That's called the ring
Oh
dinger.
my
Yeah.
god. It's so non-specific, and my god, you won't I, oh my god. I do manual traction, and you use, the head as support, but also the neck muscles as resistance to determine how much traction to give. That's scary as hell. But yet, I don't know if they're paid to say it or if they're paralyzed to begin with and they don't feel it. But my God, that looks scary as hell. And these people, they go, "Oh, that felt great." I just wonder if they all drop dead the next day of a stroke or something like that, because dude, you're talking the brain stem, you're talking the vertebral
Mm,
arteries. Now, granted, there's no rotation, so there shouldn't be any tearing of any arteries, but the violence,
mm.
the freaking, it's funny. It's early here in Ocho land, and I thought, like, because I'm a night owl, and usually my stuff is at night, and I get all hyped up. I thought, man, he's gonna get like, grade C Ocho. He's not gonna be wild and fired up. But Jesus Christ, you tuned me up already, Aussie man. What the hell? I don't like it. But I have to say, I don't know enough about it because it
Mm.
scares the piss out of me.
Yeah. No, and I agree. Like I said, I've thought about how, like, because people do seem relieved and to get relief out of it.
They're
Like,
amazing. They're like, I haven't felt like this in years. Well, yeah, your
yeah.
neck is 2 inches longer. Well, you've never felt like that.
Yeah, that is a great point. And look, my back issues are not that bad, to be totally honest. To where, like, because the people that they seem to do it to are like about to have surgery, and
Yeah,
they're like,
yeah,
"Why
almost
the fuck not?"
paraplegics. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Why the fuck not try this? It can't get any worse, can it? So I do get it. I certainly don't need it, but I tell you what, the relief does seem pretty good
I mean,
in those
and it's
videos.
instant too. It seems like,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
just the pressure, like they're anchoring under the chin, so the jaw's getting crushed under the
Yeah,
occiput. So what if the towel slips and you could break someone's nose? I feel like
yeah.
it's just so damn violent. There's this thing that's called manipulation under anesthesia, and it's for chronic pain. Again, next step is surgery. And the first thing that's done is, I'm still fighting a little sinus thing. This Ocho never
Mm.
gets compromised, but it's just a little histamine response. That's all. That's the only thing. His immune system is top notch. But the first thing we do is we just do a little gentle traction. And now that there's no musculature tension, um, you hear it. You hear it, ta, 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 and the segments are releasing a little bit. But I mean, it is gentle. And I guess the only way you can get that when they're awake is to wrap a towel around their head and hang them. I mean, it's essentially a hanging.
That's tremendous. That's a great point.
Like, if they were straight up, you'd pop the freaking
Yeah,
odontoid
yeah.
process right into the spinal column. Everybody look that up. The odontoid process right into the spinal column. Hangman's fracture. There you go.
Dropping knowledge. I love it.
Jeez.
No, I
Well,
appreciate
every
it.
once in a while, I throw that out there. I act all stupid, and then I do. And they're like, "Holy shit, the guy knows what he's talking about."
Yeah,
The
exactly.
hell,
No, and
and he's handsome
I
as hell too.
I do love the yes, you are definitely. Anyway, I also, yeah, because I've seen a bunch of chiropractors over my life and all that. And look, to be honest with you, things are mostly fine now, but I've got one recurring issue that I would love to hear if you got any advice on. So
Did
on
each
my
one you
right,
went to do the same thing, kinda, or were they different? Did they
well,
all do different stuff?
I only discovered what was actually going on like in more recent times, and I found them not giving me relief anyway when they
Oh,
did it.
not even like temporary for a day or two?
It would just go back to how it was,
Gotcha,
you're right.
gotcha, gotcha.
Yeah. So what it is on my right hand side, just inside the shoulder blade, I've been told it's a rib joint that is just in constantly in an uncomfortable
When you take a
position.
deep breath in, does it grab you sometimes, or, when you roll over in bed?
Nothing that's like severe pain.
Oh, but
It's ju-
you're aware of it.
it's it's a constant dullness there, if you know what I mean, like
Mhm.
and a constant just uncomfortable
Yeah, yeah, and
feeling.
you can't get to it, obviously. It's like,
No, exactly. Yeah, it's around in a place that there's nothing I can do to
does
get
it
it.
stay in one spot, or does it kinda go around a little bit? Like, does it
No,
kinda
always the exact same spot.
one spot? That should be easy to do. Jesus, that's
Mm.
literally right up our alley. Straight up 5.
Yeah, I mean, I've had them do the old their fist under my
Mhm.
back, but like I say, it just the next day. Do you think it's maybe just like just the posture thing, and like my muscles just pull it back out.
It
If you know
wouldn't
what I
be,
mean, like
it's something probably happened at some point because it's only specific to that one spot. If it was a posture
mm,
thing, it'd probably be a few more segments.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And it might even be bilateral. Eh, that's iffy. I shouldn't go that far, but I'm going by, you know, the percentages basically.
yeah,
But a rib head, yeah, it's basically just the rib just kind of just rotates like this. It doesn't truly pop out. It just
yeah.
rotates and it catches the intercostal nerve. But I mean, what I do is people are laying face down. I put my hand. I'm on the side, the opposite side of where the rib is rotated. I kind of grab under their pelvis and I pull them towards me as I'm tractioning away with my hand on the rib.
That
But
that
if someone's
sounds
probably
like
done that before.
no, nobody's ever
Oh
done that
shit.
before. That sounds like magic to me. That that that's porn to me, to be totally honest with you.
Right.
Like,
Well, because you're imagining the really. Well, let me ask you this: when you tuck
exactly.
your chin forward, does it pull a little bit also, or no?
No, I wouldn't say
Okay,
here's a wrinkle to it. I've got a ab that burns, and it's definitely related to that.
an ab.
An ab muscle, an abdominal, sorry, an
See,
abdominal
no, that's all
muscle.
right. Well, is it, and it's like in the same spot, like, or like, does it go through, or is it this goes and then the back? Like, I'm
No,
sorry. Give me the describe it.
in terms of like this abdominal will burn, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's in a direct line. Like if you wrapped that around my back, it's
Mm-hmm.
in a direct line with the spot, the rib spot,
And do
right?
they hurt at the
And
same time, or are they different
yes,
times?
so if I get some relief from the rib, the burning stops on the abdominal.
So that's what I was asking. If it wraps around, and you said it's
Oh, sorry, I
localized.
didn't know what you meant by wrapped around. Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
that's exactly. Yeah, yes, it
oh,
wraps
oh, oh,
around.
you're
Yeah.
definitely catching the intercostal nerve. Because the nerves they go right under the ribs, and the ribs go down and then up to the front. But the innervation is truly right, basically right around to here, and then comes up.
Yes. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well,
That
exactly that.
that
Yes.
should be that should barring anything. Like if you fell out of a tree and there's maybe a fracture there and it's all calcified and they can't do it, then I could see that. But geez, that's really right up our alley, man. I'm not even joking. That should be something that dadgummit. But I'm
And
also saying it too. I might do it, and then you go walk out. Hey, that feels great. You get in your car and you go, son of a bitch, I feel it again.
yeah. Well, you never know. Do you know what's funny? I did fall through a patio roof about a year and a half ago, but this problem has been going on a
Was it
lot.
the Dudley Boys or something? Was that it?
No, I was I was doing some work on a roof, and the patio wasn't secured at the house.
How high was
And
the roof? Like the
you're talking about oh shit! I got to transfer it to feet for you. Probably about 7 to 7.5 feet.
okay, what were you gonna
And I
say?
landed
A
flat on
meter
my
and a
back.
half?
Yeah, yeah, basically, yeah,
I don't know.
yeah. All
That's
right,
that's not that's bad. I'm just saying.
but this rib thing has been going on
But
way
it's
before
yeah,
that.
for sure.
Yeah,
Look, that didn't help it unless you would have landed right on it, and then you'd have been like, "Oh
exactly.
man, feels
No, that
great."
created a whole other rib problem on the other side. I think I cracked a rib at that point. Um,
Really?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, you'd know it. Like I'm telling you, you can't
That
breathe,
was
you can't
pain.
cough, you
Yeah,
can't laugh, you can't
yeah,
even contract your abdominal or get out of a chair. I mean,
yeah,
you'd know it.
yeah. That was pain. It's funny. I've got a thing about people talk about migraines. And my saying is like, because if someone posts on social media that they've got a migraine, I immediately think they're lying
Hmm.
because I've had one migraine in my life,
So funny you
and
say that. Me too.
the reason I know I've had one migraine in my life is
I
because
wanted to die.
I've had one migraine in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, light, anything like,
I
and
was hiding in a closet. I kid you not.
yeah,
I totally get it.
yeah,
So
and
you want to know the mechanics of the migraine? I can explain it to you right quick.
yeah, go,
So here's what happens: your trigeminal nerve, your fifth cranial nerve, it has three branches. Trigeminal, three. The ophthalmic, the maxillary, and the mandibular. So, um, the trigeminal nerve sends a signal to the cerebellum saying, "Hey, something's going on. We're not getting enough blood. We're getting too much blood flow to the brain, but you're not. It's totally fine. It's an off signal." So then they turn the spigot off a little bit. They turn it down to close the water off the blood, and then the blood is starting to come through less and less. You get this aura prior. Usually, you get like a little closed vision or you're a little sensitive to the light, or you see kind of like lines, or half your vision is it's very or tunnel like. That's the aura. If that hits, um, your body goes, "Hey, wait a second. Nah, it was fine. Open up the spigot." And then that backfilling of blood from the cerebellum, that's the migraine. That blood has nowhere to go. You'll feel it pulse
Mm,
in your temple. Sometimes it's only one side, sometimes it's both sides, but you can't any light. That's why caffeine works so well, because that's a vasoconstrictor. You can you take the Excedrin migraine is straight caffeine and some some anti-inflammatory. Coffee will help, and that constricts the vessels. It ain't gonna cure it. Time will cure it, but the any light is gonna make that pain more intense, because then your optic nerve is sensing it. It's still
yeah.
in your brain, and the pulse ice on the back of your head also. That now these are the classic migraines. There's also a cluster. There's a bunch of different ones, but anyway, I've
Well,
had one. I was in a closet. I remember it. It was 1998, and I haven't had one since. Thank God. And then when people about the flu, they say, oh, I had the flu, but I'm back today. Bullshit. You didn't have the
yes,
flu. I had the flu
100%.
one time in February of '05. Knocked me on my ass for 3 weeks. Fuck
Yeah.
off. All right.
Yeah, because people don't want to say I had a cold. You know what I mean? Because that
Yeah,
sounds
they have because
pussy.
that's pussy.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Sorry.
Yeah, when I remember being told when I had the migraine, you know, a friend that was trying to help me out, and they were like, "Oh yeah, Googled it. Like by your symptoms, like you just need sleep. You know how hard it is to
You
sleep."
can't sleep with that shit. Are you crazy?
Exactly. It's like
Try
so
putting a
my
vice on your head and then taking a nap for 3 hours. Good
exactly.
job.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like so the only thing that could save me is the one thing that I can't do right now. It's great. That's perfect. Look, no, that's great. I love to. I did want to pick your brain medically
Yeah,
for a little
this
bit.
isn't a medical show. This is a
Yeah,
fuck with
no,
people show.
no, exactly. We'll get to some of the fucking with people. But yeah, I wanted to prove to people that just because you're a big doofus with a mask on, you do have some brains
Mask.
as well. Yeah,
Everybody says this mask thing. I still don't know what we're
yeah.
talking about.
I still can't believe you fucking put that fucking thing on in a bowling alley.
Golf course bowling. What are you talking about? Ocho. I was at the Nationals, man. You saw there's an Ocho sighting at the Nationals.
Was
Looking
there?
jacked and juicy as all hell. I'll post it
Okay.
again on the X.
Yeah, post it. Yeah, actually, when you share this show, when you share the link to this show, put your
You
fucking
bet.
yeah, do that. I'll tag you in my tweet.
Are
Um,
they still called tweets, or are they called like X's or
no,
something?
they're just called posts, which is boring. And I've brought this up before. Like Elon, you changed the name, all that, the logo. Can we just call them tweets? It's different. Like that's the
Yeah,
one thing that's
that's still
different.
the part that's a tweet. It's still just a little
Yeah,
blurb. That's
yeah,
fuck him. And I don't mean it like that, but that's yeah. Don't change all.
yeah,
Don't ruin everything for us. We fear
yeah,
change. You know, we don't
yeah.
need. We don't. This isn't good.
But it's just your post everywhere else. Like
Yeah,
that's the
Facebook is a
one
post.
distinct.
Instagram's a post.
Yeah, yeah. It's the one distinguishing feature. You know, and they
Well, we
took
can
it
still
away.
keep it alive if we want to. I mean, that's free will.
I'll always say tweet. That's yeah. Speaking of tweeting, that's where you sort of got started with the Dr. Ocho thing. Well, it
You
started
bet.
out as Ocho. Well, Grappler 8, I think,
Right,
in the
right,
very
right.
beginning, and
Yes.
then it developed from there. But yeah, let's go back in time about probably about 5 years at this point.
Yeah.
It's crazy how time's flown by, but
And I tell you how much goddamn fun that was.
it was
Like,
fun.
I
Yeah.
mean, I was I'm not much of a social media guy, but man, I couldn't wait to get on the twatter, whatever you want to call it. Or I looked forward to doing that every day, man. It was go ahead. It was just a boatload of fun we were having.
No, it's great. I love your enthusiasm about it because it was fun. It was a fun time and some different bizarre things went on. But yeah, to your beginning, so like yeah, there were the grapplers 6 and 7, and they were sort of starting a little faction.
Hmm.
And you sort of found your way into that.
Yeah, I
L-
mosey. They had X actually at the time also, who was another jack dude. He's like full on
Yeah,
straight edge. Don't touch the booze or nothing. And Ocho's, I guess, jagged edge. I don't know, because I gotta have a little bit of the creature every once in a while. But yeah, actually it started I with Vince Russo. I think is pretty much we were
yep,
all kind of like we enjoyed his conversations. We enjoyed that his story always stayed the same. He got a bad rap for some reason. I never understood it, but it seemed like his story always stayed the same, regardless of everybody else trying to rewrite it. And that's how it started. And I think we all kind of were into that because it's, guy speaks the truth, at least from what we know. I can't really call him a liar on anything. And I heard 6 and 7, and I think X. Oh, and what was I don't even I'm sure it's out by now, but they had another grappler on there with a disguised voice.
Yeah, was that 9 or 13? I think
No,
it was
no,
9.
13. It was one of your bandmates for it was Durban.
Oh, was he one of the grapplers?
Just for there was for one
Oh,
time they went
sorry.
on.
No, I do remember that. He put a mask on for that,
Yes.
yeah. But
And
we
he's
all knew it was Durban,
Yeah, I
right?
didn't actually. No,
Okay,
I
yeah.
wasn't even in yet though. I didn't really know. Afterwards, when I rewatched it and his gravelly voice,
Yeah.
it was so hokey. I freaking cracked up. But 6, 7, and X, I think were like the main guys. 6 and 7, clearly they started it.
Mm.
They brought in X, and then I hit them. I hit one of them up, and I was like, dude, that's just funny. And I just started like dabbling in like editing and whatnot. I was in a midlife crisis, and I was like, if you need like if you need a satellite guy, out here on the East Coast, just let me know. And he was like, oh, cool, thanks, man. Well, I'll definitely hit you up sometime. That was it. I didn't hear nothing for a few months. And it was when Kuhn was having issues with 6 and 7. Meanwhile, this was the original time they thought they were having issues with 6 and 7. And so he hits me up. He's like, "Hey, you wanna help us out with something? Can you write some jokes? We're gonna do a." And I went on and I read everything. I was like, "Oh, definitely." I said, "Give me a few minutes." I gave him like 5 or 6 dumb fat kid jokes, whatnot. Like any childish guy would do. And he was like, "These are great. You're a part of the group." And I was like, "No shit, really?" I'm in. And it was around like December-ish, I remember. Maybe early December, late November. And they did this parody video about Matt. They're playing chess and they're like, "Matt, you're so fat, you jumped up in the air and you got stuck." And then they'd put a chess piece and then they would say a bunch of jokes. And at the end, they threw it. And then Kuhn loved it. He was like, "Dude, that was so funny. You guys are invited on our show anytime." 2 weeks later, they had an issue again. And I was like, all
Mm.
right. And then it was a full on brawl. Like he even admitted on Russo's show, he went after us because he thought we were bad for the Vince Russo name and everything. And like, I didn't get it. I thought he was fun. We were having fun. And it was all harmless. But anyway, that's how it started.
Well, it's interesting you get to that point because you bring up Matt Coon and that's where
you come in.
that's where I came in. And yeah, like so Matt Coon was he was involved with Russo and he started a podcast with Russo and like I immediately was like, this guy is obnoxious and holier than thou and all of that. So yeah, I was just sitting there one day and I was like, just change the M to an F and we're in business.
It writes itself.
Yeah, and I then just tried to write the most ridiculous, like woke tweets, and
they were perfect.
Being over
literally
the top
trying to
and
get banned from Twitter if you could, if there's a way, because it's your own account, whatever. It's an F.
yeah, and there's something very great about writing for someone you're not responsible for, if you know what I mean. Like
Exactly.
they're not my words. They're not my words. These are the words Fat Coon would use. These are not my opinions. You know what I mean? Like I loved that aspect of it. And you know what I loved about it is I clicked with all of you grapplers immediately. And in terms of like, there was this unspoken thing going on to where you guys were cooking things up and I didn't know what you were cooking up, but when I start to see a tweet, I would go, I'm just going to interact with that. And it always seemed to help what you guys were doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there was never any private chats like, hey, here's what we're going to do. It was literally just like, okay, it's almost like we served it up to you and to, anybody else. Sometimes the signal would come out and you jump in and just basically whack it right back.
No, it was
That
great.
was
And
funny.
look, there was a period of time where Fat Coon went after Ocho, and like there was, yeah, a series of tweets. And what was great, what I always kind of respected about your approach was you didn't argue with people, and I that is where a lot of people fall down in terms of
Mhm.
when they're getting criticized or jokes are being made about them. It's either you can go two ways. You can fire back with your own joke, and you guys can have a back and forth, or you just ignore it and then they run out of steam. So yeah, I always like the fact that you kind of held yourself back and
Yeah,
just
a lot,
threw
but
in
a lot of
shots.
times
Yeah,
when it was like just a joker on Twitter, I'd usually outwit him anyway, and then they would kind of roll back too. So it was plus we usually had a couple of us with the swarm. But yeah, no,
yeah,
I mean, what am I going to take offense? I mean, look, when I got outed, even the insults were
mhm.
so bad. They were like,
Yeah. That's the thing.
"Look,
Yeah,
this guy's a doctor. He probably makes some money." What? You're insulting me? Really?
yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
I'm truly not offended by that. I'm getting
No,
ahead of myself too because that
no,
was
yeah,
still
that is pretty much the next step in the timeline. Is the
well,
fact
no, I
that
think the Vince because we got well, maybe not. Yeah, you're right. You're right. That is because nobody cared who I was. That was the other thing.
well, yeah, because yeah, Wanglin and Rad Rob got, and this is what's still amusing about the fact that you're working with Rad Rob, but your initial introduction to Rad Rob was him being very negative towards you. And I know those guys definitely tried to play me as being on their side in that situation. And they wanted me to come on and bury you and all this shit. And I was like, I don't really even know this guy yet. So I got nothing to joke about. Like, what am I going to joke about?
Yeah,
You
right.
know?
Well, I can't. Can I make fun of him that he made some money in his life? Like
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
what
exactly.
what a loser.
But what was amazing, and look, I'm always here for it
And
when
that's
loose.
why I did take the high road too, because again, it was the insults were so bad. I was like, I can't. What do I come back to? Like, how do I even?
Well, and it's also the thing. At the end of the day, yeah, you do run a business and it's all publicly available. But I'm always here for it when like people go all loose cannon and go,
Mhm.
I'm gonna fucking doc shit and da.
Yeah,
I'm
right,
like,
right, right.
yeah, fuck yeah, I'll tune into that and listen to you doc somebody. But at the same time, yeah, they 100% went full throttle and doxed you very early on, and dox has become a quite a popular
Yeah.
term these days, and people misuse docs. But those guys literally posted screenshots with a Google Map pin and all that kind of
They got
shit.
the wrong address too, by the way. They had the
Did
wrong
they?
address. That was my old office. I never got one new patient. They had no listeners, so that was the
No,
other
of
thing.
course.
They
Yeah.
had you guys as listeners only because it was an interesting topic. And I knew it was going to happen too because the first time I went on, I didn't have a Skype account. I mean, I had mine that
Yeah,
I
yeah,
would
yeah.
talk with my ex-girlfriend prior. So it
Which
had my
is
email address. And as soon as I hung up, I told Six, I said, shoot. I said, it had my email address on it. It's got my last name. And he said, oh, don't worry about that. That guy's cool. You're safe. And I said, all right. And then once things started heating up a little bit, because that was when Rob went after Seven
hmm,
about something. I don't know, about one of his insults. And Seven was like, look,
cuck.
I don't tell you how to eat. Don't tell me how to, use Twitter or X. Again, a funny comeback. And there were not too many people were a match for us either. That was the other thing. Because we had
Hmm.
three quick minds. We're I'm not bragging, but we're kind of intelligent people. But it was that's what was almost kind of sad about it. You know what I mean? Like the whole doxing, they got the wrong address. They had no listeners. It was just, and then Seven went, oh no, we have a doctor in our faction. Look at us. How stupid are we? And it
Yeah,
was
yeah.
like every retort they had just nullified anything that they did to try and, go at the real guy, whoever he may be. And no one even fucking
No,
remembers anyway.
no, and I'm and again, I'm privy to your real name, but I actually don't remember it. If you know what I mean, like it's
I remember you knocked me on how to get the protein thing out of the scooper out of the thing, right? Wasn't that you? So that I'm pretty sure that was you.
No, I
I
don't
had a
think.
different video and it was a different guy. And I was showing you how to just, hey, here's how you get your scooper out of the first cup of protein mix and you stick a knife in there. I'm pretty sure that was you that said, well, thank God I know how to get a scooper out of a protein mix. And I probably liked the tweet too because it was fucking funny.
Well, look, I'll take credit for it. I honestly don't remember about.
Oh, it was again 5 years ago. It was a long time. When you've written
Yeah,
5,000 tweets, I get
good
it.
point. Yeah, exactly. But no, like the only reason, and again, the only reason I found out what your real name is via people sending me screenshots of Rob's fucking tweet,
Mhm.
Facebook posts, and all that shit. But again, honestly, I couldn't tell you the name that I saw right now because it doesn't fucking matter. You know what I mean? Like that's the crazy. Like you're sticking to the gimmick, you're keeping the mask on, you're Ocho. That's the guy. That's who you are to me. You're Ocho. You know what I mean? Like it's not. I've never thought about who you really are,
I've
other
had
than
Vince
just
tell me
playing with the
never,
Butch thing.
ever, ever break character. He said, I don't want to know your name. I don't want to see your face. It'll ruin it for me. This is Vince Russo. He's like, please don't. I was like, oh, okay, that's easy enough.
Yeah,
So I always wear this anyway. What
yeah, which
mask?
is yeah, exactly. Well, Ocho always wears that. That's the point, isn't it?
Golf
No?
course, bowling alley. I
Yeah.
cleaning the gutters, cutting the grass. Look, this is it's I'm naturing it, right? Don't they say that?
So, getting back to it, so there was a fair bit of beef there between and look, I'll reference something I talked about, like not responding to stuff, and like there were
Mhm.
certain times where I said like I thought that was great. One of the things, so I did those castrating the bros things, which is really embarrassing for
No, I
me.
know, and I never even listened to them. That was the one thing, only because I was just busy.
Yeah,
Swear to
yeah,
God.
look, I'm glad you didn't, and don't ever. Uh, but no, it was me again with a delusional thought process over who I was working with, thinking shit would be edited down
Mhm.
and not just thrown out. You know
Well,
what I
which
mean?
guy
Like,
were you? Were you or were you because I know
no,
Rob was trying to be somebody and
I was multiple people across
okay,
that.
okay,
So
all right, all right.
I was Vince Russo. Obviously, Fat Coon came in. I think I did a Husey, a Joe. Yeah, I was all over the place. But fuck, now I forgot. Oh, sorry, that's right. After we did the second one and we really went after they really went after the grapplers. I sat back a lot in the second one. But that next day, the Twitter response, like the activity on my Twitter was insane. Like I woke up after that episode dropped, I woke up and I had like 100 plus notifications. I was like, oh, cool. And it's just grapplers and you know what I mean? All these different comments ripping and all that. And I was like, oh well, there's no real point in getting involved in this.
Yeah,
Like you did
yeah. That's
you,
that's a
you
lot of that's a lot of beef right there.
exactly. It's like you did what you did. Like just like live with it and move on.
Move
There's no
on to the
point
next step. Yeah,
no
yeah.
point arguing with any of these people. So yeah, that to me showed like when you've got a group of guys that are all just relentless, like that was one of the fun things about the grapplers is if
The swarm.
the swarm exactly. Yeah. You guys moved on though and actually tried to start your own thing, and I joked about it. Co-host of the Grappler Gazette
Mhm.
and all that. Did that just become a time thing? Because I thought you guys were onto something there. Like
Uh,
the
it start so the idea was to actually start that and then go even further because what happened this got all spawned on because we were just Twitter. We were on Twitter, they were on Russo show a couple times, and then Vince used to do this Saturday night Skype thing,
yeah.
and I was like, I was talking with Six, and I'm like, dude, should I try and jump on there and just rage it up? Like he was like, dude, go. So I got to backtrack. Grappler 8 was Grappler 8, and I was called 8. And I'm like, dude, wouldn't it be funny if like I stole, ESPN, the Ocho, remember from Dodgeball?
Mm.
I become the Ocho. And then when I got out, so that was the other thing. When I got outed, I'm like, well, I'm a doctor anyway. Why not just be Dr. Ocho? And then that became that. So they basically enhanced my character a ton because what's to hide now? And
Well, it also does actually break you away because you were a grappler,
right,
whereas
right. That's
now
true too.
it's your own thing now. You're like you're Dr. Ocho.
Yeah. So I kicked onto that Skype thing, and it was like sometimes you'd get on, sometimes you wouldn't. But I got on, and I just went. I never been on before. I never been on camera before. I never talked before. I never had a microphone in front of me. I just went insane, and I don't think I let Vince get 3 words in. And at the end of it, Vince was like, "I gotta have you on next week, man. We gotta do this again."
Yeah.
And it became a thing. Like he was like, "I'm always saving it for Ocho," and I was Ocho at that point. I'm saving it for Ocho. I'm saving the last call for Ocho. Nobody call in anymore. Ocho's calling in, and so
Yeah.
Six and I would come up with stuff to talk about, and that just kind of went on too. Like we just kept doing that, and then Vince was like, "Bro, I think the Grapplers got to do a show on the Realm Network," and
Yeah.
I screen recorded it. And like we pulled a swerve on Vince once. We were doing a lot of stuff with him at that point. He was like including us in a lot of things. And that wasn't going to happen. That's fine. We weren't sure enough. But then we started. Then Seven was like, "Dude, I was in radio, man. Why don't we do this? We were 3 good minds." And the idea was we were gonna actually make it into a network also. I guess like Rad Rob's network, but only good.
Well,
You guys said something about who
we'll
owns
go,
it.
we'll
I
go.
asked him that. I asked him that on a straight up phone. I was like, "Rob, I saw in the email it says you're the owner of the How much did that cost?" But I
Exactly.
bust his balls and he knows it. It's just being that's I don't
Well,
know. What do I
he
know?
had to do a network after being because he was a partner in a network.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
You know what I
That's
mean?
right.
So then
It
he
was
had to start his own network to get back at Johnny podcasting.
yeah.
You know,
Is he
and
still on, by the way? Is he still doing stuff?
Johnny podcasting.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently.
Oh.
I'm looking forward to them to start doing stuff to get our attention again because we stopped paying attention to them a long
Oh
time
shit.
ago.
So I was gonna
Yeah,
say, I know the Get My Go crew was like really enjoying the watch alongs, I guess we should say. And I'm out of the loop, man. I got a
well,
year and a half
yeah, look,
old and shit's a little
well,
different.
yeah, no, and I get that side of it because yeah, you've got a daughter, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. So our daughters are basically the same age.
Oh, no
You know,
shit.
I mean, mine's about to turn 2 next month, but
Yeah, still though.
you know, in terms of they're going to be in the same grade for their entire
Yeah, but
life. You know,
still,
so
you're
yeah,
you're no spring chicken, fat coon. Come on.
yeah, no, exactly. Well, and I've got a 4-year-old son as well, about to turn 5.
Oh,
But
you're prepared. You're prepared.
yeah,
I
yeah,
got
yeah,
you.
yeah. But she's the youngest, already showing the spoiled nature
Mhm.
of you know what I mean. We've been there, done that. Like with another one, we're not paying as much attention
Yeah,
to
right,
the
right. We were so
details
enamored.
anymore.
We were so enamored. She'll be
Yeah,
fine.
yeah. Yeah,
She'll
yeah,
be all right.
so she's a little bit of a little shit sometimes with her
Mhm.
screaming to want stuff and all that,
Yeah,
but
she's in the
no,
street. She'll be fine. She'll
yeah,
learn. She'll see the
yeah,
big
yeah.
headlights.
The terrible thing is, and this isn't a dad just saying it, like, this objectively, she is the cutest little girl in the world, like,
Oh, mine
objectively, like
is. I was told that at the doctor today. I was told that.
no, we get
Official.
told every time we go to the supermarket, anytime we go out in public, someone will tell us
Well, I'm
that.
going to start a count to see how many times because we're going out later today, and I'm going to make sure and I'm going to tweet it because I got to tell you, quarantine lady, as we still affectionately refer to her
Yes,
as,
yeah,
um, she went to her friend's house and she played with their friend's daughter, and the daughter was butt ugly. And it annoyed me. And I said, you don't have to let her hang around
yeah.
her.
No,
I said,
no,
well, stupid me. I said, "Oh, what's his name?" And she
yeah.
goes, "It's a girl." And I
Well,
went,
we don't know that yet, though, do
"What
we?
the fuck?"
It's up to the child as to what
Oh,
their
that's
gender
true.
is.
That's true. That's
So we
true.
don't know
Yeah,
that,
that's
so
true.
you're not necessarily wrong.
Anatomically,
Yeah,
anatomically, and chromosomally, right now, this moment,
yeah,
because she hasn't been infiltrated with any outside stimuli or hormonal changes. It's a very fucking ugly kid, ugly baby, ugly girl. I'm sorry, and that's why I'm not saying her name. But luckily, she's only hung out with her one more time, and they came
all
over
good.
here, and I went, "Fuck, that thing is ugly."
Cool, cool, because I've heard that is actually, a transmittable disease, ugly,
I
so
know it could
you
be.
don't yeah,
It
you
could
don't
be.
want You
It's
don't.
what she
Yeah.
said is talking to Rob safe on the microphone. Could something get through? My quarantine lady has said that to me.
And it's all good. Only dick pics get through. That's all that makes their way through. Uh, hey, Bobo's here.
I've never
Bobo's
gotten one.
you did some stuff with Bobo, and look, shout out. Bobo was here for our last live stream, and
Oh,
he's
there.
here again.
Oh, what a guy.
Uh,
My migraines are better
no,
enough.
yeah, yeah, we were talking
Oh
about
yeah,
that ages
you'll,
ago.
you'll, you dude, your face will sag, and you'll
Yeah.
get like your eye will close or droop on the one side. You'll try to talk, and you'll sound like Ocho after a few pops. And what's the other one? Ocho, oh, that's true, very true.
Ocho is an Ocho with it. Yeah, I'll
Oh
bring
yeah,
him up on
that's
the screen.
kids
And
gotta have. Yeah, I do that.
kids got
I
that's true. Look, every
I
kid will
hung
be
out with
ugly
only fat
next to my
people,
kids.
man. I
So.
was like, the ladies are after me now.
No, but I do want to give because Bobo's here, and I know why he's here because of Ocho, and I appreciate it. But you were here the previous live stream. I want to give you a shout out, man, because I was listening to those RTW main events and like cringing a lot.
Oh, it's so bad. I
And I
intentionally bad too.
yeah. But like, I did want to clip it for Get My Go and stuff. But like, in all honesty, like there was some stuff that Bobo come up with his different characters and that, and he had some lines, man, that he did actually get me a bunch of times. Like,
I would crack up him and
yeah,
oh my god, oh my god.
cousin Marky Mark.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes. Oh my god.
yeah. No, yeah, yeah. Again, had good lines. It just got repetitive and
It was
fucking
I hate
yeah,
I don't want to say I hated it, but like it was just we just had nothing. We had nowhere to go. We had nowhere to go
yeah,
from there.
yeah.
Like it wasn't going to get any better. Just a bunch of and no one was listening, I'm sure.
I mean, I was.
No, okay. I mean, I was like, Rob, I'm not even going to ask you about the analytics of it because I wasn't even listening. Like like the Grappler Gazette, I couldn't wait to listen when it dropped
Yeah,
because and we man, dude, I think we did such funny you're right, we were onto something with that. That one was it, and it wasn't time. I think they tried to do something. We brought another guy in who was like a radio guy, and then just shit just kind of fell apart. Like we
yeah,
had, or maybe our ideas were too big and we should have just kept it as is. But it just and what I liked was we were doing like kind of like seasons really. Like we'd have season 1, we would take a month and a half off, 2 months off. Season 2, a month, because this way at least you can start and take it off and go in another direction if you want to,
mm,
or like to be so it's almost like WWE can't go anywhere now. Like they're just so damn repetitive. Or like it got stale. He's right.
yeah,
The RTW show, it got stale. We were going to do an 80s thing. We were going to do all decent ideas, but we had nowhere to take it. We tried doing this 80s thing and all we did was recite lines. And I was like, what the
mm,
hell is that going to do? Like
yeah.
we'd laugh, but it's we could have done the same thing drinking beer, sitting around a table or around a campfire or something like that. And we were the only ones that are going to laugh at this shit or listen. Anyways,
Yeah,
boy, I go a lot, man. God damn, you fucking oh man.
I love it. I love it. No, look, like I say, it was a thing. Yeah, it got stale. Again, it got a bit repetitive, like the same bits over and over again, and
And all the
but
jokes about the Mark's mom, like
yeah,
and
yeah,
which
yeah,
were
yeah,
like I would just try and think of any other way to say like, and coming up next week it'll be straight up five's mom's ass or whatever. Mark's mom's ass is straight up five, something like that. It'll on the you
yeah,
saw the video. Things that didn't even make sense. Like when someone
yeah,
says that's what she said when it doesn't even belong there. That's kind
yeah,
of how
yeah,
it
yeah,
got.
yeah. Yeah. But no, look, you know, like I say, you guys certainly had your funny moments in there, like doing your best, and like yeah, I just wanted to shout out Bobby because he's been here for
He's president of the
two.
Ochoites still.
Yeah, well, he is too.
Still
That's
sitting
right.
president. Absolutely.
What
Pays his
else
dues
was
every year.
he? What was his fucking? What was his
But
character?
Maximo oh shit. Oh,
Oh,
Barba Maximo, something like
yeah,
that.
El
Baba, what
Baba
was it?
Maximo. Yeah, it was. It was El Baba Maximo.
And then
I like
his
your accent.
intro, very very much for me having you here. Every time he would
Yeah.
say that, I'd crack
Nah,
up. It was
I
so
did the way he worded things sometimes and all that with it. Yeah, because
yeah,
he
doing the like the Yoda type freaking verbiage. It was
yeah,
fucking funny.
no, it was good. It was good. I
El
liked it.
Barba Maximo.
Yeah, it was El Baba Maximo. Thank
On
you very
Maximo
much for
Island.
having
That's
me.
right. God damn
Yes.
it. It
Oh,
was
that's right. That's where it got ridiculous.
yeah,
Like the whole Rob traveled to Maximo Island and you did the
yeah.
whole. I was like, what the fuck is going on now? Like,
And
this
that's
is
what I would
insane.
say. Like, if there's no CC's Pizza there, you're not gonna travel. If there's no
Yeah.
Popeyes, we know you're not going there. It's like something like that. It
Yeah.
was. It was well, I mean he was yeah, he was likewise not stoned, but
Yeah. Let's bring that up actually. Bobby, I can,
oh, he would hit it right
I
on the
can
show.
relate.
He was
I can very much relate. My entire time on Reality Check podcast network
that's how you
was the
get through
best.
it.
Yeah, it
So
is.
you mentioned that Christmas Get My Go. I
Yes.
thought that was so I know we had a panel, an all-star panel where we were like 15, 17 people. I thought that was so damn funny. I went and rewatched that a bunch of times. Everybody's everybody's one-liner or two-liners were so they were so good. They were so spot on. That was a funny show. Even though
No,
there was a
what?
lot of cooks.
No, it was, and it was. I mean, Mike is a pro editor, and
Mhm.
he has since told me that about 3 of my lines got cut because people stomped on them, which is heartbreaking.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I
But
always
no,
yell them, so
yeah. Well, part of the problem, I think, there's a slight delay to Australia as well. So,
you're
if
so far away.
yeah, I get stomped on all the time. Like we have a rule on Get My Go that everyone's got to pause for me to get my point across. So they don't stomp on me trying.
Give him his
But
3 seconds and then
yeah,
power pause and then we'll go.
yeah, exactly. Um, but no, no, that was great fun. Yeah, having all the different people like reacting to it, and I did enjoy just sort of looking around the room like at different people's reactions at the moment of different things that came through. I thought that was a lot of fun.
What was my
Yeah,
reaction? Could you tell?
it was generally very difficult
Oh,
for you. You did another episode later on of Get My Go
I did.
after the Christmas special, and I believe, like he did with a lot of my episodes, Rad Rob wormed his way onto that one too.
Oh, did he? I don't even remember that.
Yeah, no, he was on it with you.
Was he?
Yeah.
Oh, were you guys? Oh, was he like? All right, let me ask you this: was he kind of doing it with you guys each week, or did he worm his way in? Because I was
Well,
there.
the funny thing is, I think they started like a group chat after Rob left John, like split with John.
Oh, okay.
And then I would just had personal DMs going with Joe Feeney and Mike Durbin. So that's how we used to like organize when I was coming on the show or
Hmm.
whatever. And so I'd organize with Joe, and Joe's like, yeah, you come on this episode. And then next second I get a message from Rob and he's like, oh yeah, I talked to the guys, I'm coming on that episode too. I was like, oh yeah, cool.
All right,
And so anyway, eventually, because I was finding clips for the guys and all that, and eventually it was like,
dude,
no,
that's a
like
lot of freaking work, man. Like to
it's a lot.
oh my
You know,
god,
you know how much of wrestling with reality I listen to,
that's got to
man.
suck just to do that to begin with,
It
and
was
it's all for our pleasure. So I
yeah,
appreciate you for that.
but I found some fucking magic in amongst all of that.
Oh god, yeah,
So
but still, you have to sift through it, and then like if you let's say you stop paying attention, you might miss gold too. That's the other thing. So you got to keep your
well,
focus and
that's one of the things about me. Like I do tune out into my own thoughts listening to something anyway.
yeah,
And
if
the
you're
thing
bored,
about a thing about Johnny Wangland is he will shock you out of that
oh
with
gotcha,
some
it's that
amazing
perturbed.
shit.
Yeah, I got you.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'll just be off in my own thoughts, and then I'll hear something and go, "Wait, what did you say?" Back 15 seconds. Oh yeah, I got to clip this. Like, this is amazing. So yeah, no, that was fun. So yeah, then I got added to this group chat with the rest of them that Rob was in, and after a few months of needling and prodding, Rob did his usual flame out, leave the group, get mad at everybody, and we all went on with our lives.
I tail it on out of here. I did
Yeah.
one show with Mike Durbin, and it sucked so bad. He had me and what was the guy's name? The guy that would be like, I want to thank the grapplers. They always got my back. They're good people. Uh,
Oh,
Vince had
Hambone.
Hambone, shit,
Hambone.
Hambone. I haven't.
Harambe.
Is
Harambe,
he
sorry.
is he still around at all, or like?
No. Yeah, you're probably not caught up on
Oh shit.
Hambone's antics or Harambe's
I know
antics.
he was doing some show, and it was like about psychology. No, not psychology. It was like serious though. He was talking about. I'm going back 3 years now. Still, uh,
Easily.
I don't know. So I and Six would point it out and be like, "You're not going to believe what he talked about today." But I look, it's his life; he could do it. But
Yeah.
I did a show with Durban and Hambone, and Durban was doing like WrestleMania predictions, and he literally went. He would call the match and go, "Hambone, who do you got?" And Hambone would just give one answer. Ocho, who do you got? And I'd say, well, I try to make it into something, and he'd go, next match. And he I was like, I got off and I texted Six, and I was like, don't even listen to it. I'm not going to. He's like, why? I thought Dirt. I was like, he's good, just not today. It was awful. I mean, I'm not ripping on Durban either. I've never had.
No. I mean, it's a shame this is live because I could get. I'm going to find that episode. We're going to do a Get My Go on it.
Oh, totally. You should. I promise you.
Yeah.
It's so all. I probably was bad in trying to do something. You know, I don't force things. I kind of like what comes at me. I kind of spit back or feed off of, because maybe I don't have the brain to come up with it myself. But I can do it if it's thrown at me. And he threw nothing at me. It was like next match. Shoot. Does he still have his network? I guess.
No, he doesn't do the Mike Durbin show anymore, but it's all archived, I'm sure. So
okay, get it. Please get it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go find it.
Now I do want to hear it because I just want to see if I'm right about how awful it was.
No, I mean, if I ask Mike for it, he'll just send it to me anyway. You know.
I mean, I honestly, and Mike's a funny guy sometimes too. Sometimes he's funny on the show. He's quick. He does good shit. So I'm not really running on him. It was just
no. Like Mike will tell Mike would, if Mike was on this stream right now, he'd say, "I'm a shit host. I suck at hosting a podcast." He would tell you that, and I would tell him that to his face.
All right. Well, he did. He did on that show.
Yeah.
That's all. Mike, you're right.
But no, Mike is a genius, and Mike has a great humor in production.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I'm saying. Like he can put an intro together and the freaking music, and holy shit.
Not just that, Mike Durbin has taken jokes I've done on the Get My Go. Like Mike has trimmed them down and made them funnier. If you know what I mean, like
yeah.
You know, like the whole brevity is the soul of wit, all of that. You know what I mean? Like,
of course.
Mike has done some clever editing that actually made my jokes funnier than when I delivered them. Like he is excellent.
That's awesome.
Yeah, has an excellent
why the hell does he
eye
host?
and ear for this.
Or does he host anymore? I don't know.
No, he quit the Mike Durbin show. He doesn't do that anymore.
Oh, you did say that, but is he on? Yeah. So you mentioned Get My Go. I went back and watched the Teddy Hart one. That was funny. God, that was so bad, man. I mean, like Rob said, it was a shit show. He wasn't lying. And Rob actually he's good at producing also. Damn, still coughing. But so he's good at that. He's good at delivery. He's good at his production is very well maintained, even for Straight Up 5.
Yeah. No, look, when Rob gets lazy, you know, like that's where the problems happen, you know, and I don't know.
This is like a Rob session or anything, but like
no, of course not.
Clearly,
no, Rob does know editing, and you know, Rob has great sound and all that stuff. Like,
it's that too, or the Roadcaster, which again, well worth it.
Yeah, the fact that I think Rob is a gross human being doesn't take away from the fact that yes, he does do those things well, but also when he gets lazy or doesn't care anymore, his production skills go down very much.
I get it. I mean, because I'm lazy anyway. I don't do shit. I just
that's right. Yeah. Well, that's probably why he's still hosting and producing Straight Up 5. Is because you and Johnny wouldn't know what to do.
No, hell no. And I'm not going to. I'm never going to.
Yeah, and I get it.
I don't know why I'm there. Like actually I am there to hone Johnny in a little bit, and I give a little bit of an amateur um idea to the, because again, I don't think pros are listening to us, so it's probably more league bowlers and whatnot. Boy, I'm
Yeah.
all over the place, huh?
No, but I think no, it's probably I probably do need to shut it down. I need to get to bed. So no, we'll wrap it up with that. Wrap it up there. We touched on bowling in the start, and we'll finish up with that. Straight up five, plug away. Let
Wednesdays,
everyone
8
know.
p.m. on it's actually Straight Up Five on YouTube, and it's on Johnny Petraglia Jr.'s Facebook page live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Sponsored by Manscaped and
Oh, nice.
these arms. And what else do I have? I don't even know how to plug because we don't even do. That's how amateur we are. Like we don't even. I was like, man, we got to start doing plugs at least. Do them in the middle of the show. Say this segment is sponsored by Manscaped, and you can
Yeah.
see us on the X at the DRO.
Yeah.
Shit, that's not my. Oh, it is at the DR Ocho. Right. And so shit like that. We don't even do that. Even Joe Rogan still plugs his damn Twitter.
Yeah.
Why
No,
do we do
good
that,
point.
anyways? So that's it. I'll end it with that.
At,
And
at the
grapplers
at
never
the
die.
Grapples never die. No, and look, I want to link up with 6 and 7 again very soon. But no, yeah, definitely check it out. Straight up five. Ocho's great. I think he's been entertaining in this show, and Johnny Petraglia Jr. is, I think, a very interesting and
Polarizing guy.
entertaining
Check
fellow.
him out. He's fun to watch.
He's a good guy. Check him out at Straight Up Five. YouTube, Facebook, podcast feeds, all of that. Straight Up Five. Ocho, thank you for joining us.
Awesome. Enjoyed it. Good to catch up with you again, my man.
Any last comment?
Yes, if you do the Get My Go with that, I want to be on it.
All right, done.
Please.
We'll make it happen. All right, everyone. I'll just plug my X on X. I am at that sussy guy. Just mention that Aussie guy. Put an S where the A should be. We'll catch you next time on United States of Australia.